Good morning. Welcome to Picture Book Read Alouds. I'm Mrs. Power. Today we're going to be focusing on character traits. We'll be reading this book called The Spider and the Fly. And we have two characters in this book, the spider and the fly. And I really want you, while I'm reading, to think about character traits that you could identify that have to do with the spider. The spider definitely shows a few different sides of himself in this story. And so I'll be making two videos just to show you a step-by-step of the art project we'll be doing today, but it'll be a slide where you can have two different faces for the spider and two different pieces of evidence to show his personality traits. So let's first read it. This book has some really neat art in it, so I hope you can see it well on video. It's kind of spooky. Okay, so here is page 1. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you are there." And this little character here is the fly. "Oh no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." I'll show you the words as well, because for our project today you'll have to find some quotes. "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh no, no," said the little fly. "I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" So you can see the spider is serving her some kind of a beetle looking treat. "Oh no, no," said the little fly. "Kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'd step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." "I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day." The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out of his door again, and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily, flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing, at last. Up jumped the cunning spider, and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she never came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. And to an evil counselor close heart and ear and eye, and take this lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. The end. And this story is written by Tony Di Terlizzi, which is based on The Cautionary Tale by Mary Howitt. So that's our story. I'm going to stop the video now and start a new one with our project. But what I'd like you guys to do is you'll have to keep watching this and go back and find quotes, but I want you to find two personality traits, two characteristics that the spider has, and think about a face that would go with those traits and a quote from the text that would go with those traits. So we have three parts: the trait, the face, the facial expression, and the evidence from the text. Okay, first step is to create your spider. So you can do it on any kind of paper that you'd like. I happen to have this little black and white checkered paper, and so I just made the body of the spider and the head. Oops, the head is on this side. But if you can tell, the head has a hole in it because I've made two faces, which I'll decorate with the two personality traits that he possesses. And then we're going to make a slide that'll go across this way, and I'll show you how step by step. But when he has one trait, there will be one face, and then when he has a different trait, another face will slide in. So if you have an X-Acto knife, you can use that, but most people don't happen to have an X-Acto knife sitting around. You can just cut a hole in the face. We'll be doing the same thing down here, because this is where, for me, this is where I'm going to put the quotes. And when he has one face, it's going to have a matching quote. And when he has another face, he'll have a matching quote for that personality trait. So this is my step one. Okay, next step of your process is, once you've chosen your personality traits, to draw a picture of what you think represents each of the two traits. So I'm not going to tell you what mine are yet, because I want you to come up with your own. But when I slide my there will be a piece of paper like this that you'll attach to the back and slide them through. And when you slide them, when you have a quote that goes along with this trait, my quote will show up down here. And then when I slide it over, I'll have to slide for this trait as well. So come up with 2 traits and 2 quotes, and then start creating your pictures with the correct facial expressions. Okay, so for the last couple of steps, what you'll need are 2 strips of paper, and then on the strip of paper, you'll glue the first strip, you'll glue your 2 facial expressions, and then on the second strip of paper, you'll glue another piece of paper that has your 2 character traits and quotes. And so if you can see here, I made an extra hole. So now the faces can fit into the spider's face, and the quotes can fit into this space with the character trait. So what I'll do now is I have cut little slits, and you can't see them because they're super tiny, but I've cut little slits in the paper so that way my little slip of paper can fit right through like that. So I'll put this guy in on both sides. And so now, let's see, how can I hold this up? Now this will slide back and forth to show both of the character traits that I put. And then I'll do the same with the faces. So now this one also slides back and forth. I will say that on mine, I made it a little bit too close. I didn't, so make sure you plan it out. So I do have to take this one out in order to show face number 2. But it still slides back and forth. So what I have now is, I'll tell you my 2 character traits. So if you haven't picked yours, please pause and pick yours and pick your quotes so that way you're using your own creative mind. And then I will show you what mine are. So press pause. And for those of you, welcome back, who have chosen yours. I have my first face here, which to me, as a very amateur artist, shows a very charming spider. And so here's my quote for charming. It says, "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings." And then the next part actually says, "How brilliant are your eyes," but I didn't have enough space. So it says charming. I've got my quote and I've got my charming face. And then when I slide it over, this face is a little more deceitful, a little more cunning. So my second trait is cunning. So if I slide this over, you can see that here it says cunning. "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you?" So that's my trait number 2 with my face number 2. So this is showing different character traits of the spider. And again, you can choose however you want to make your spider. If you have like pipe cleaners, those would be really fun legs. I just had construction paper, so I made it out of construction paper. But then you've got your 2 faces, your 2 pieces of evidence for your character traits, and that is our cunning and charming spider in The Spider and the Fly. Hope you enjoyed this activity, and I look forward to seeing you next week.